Paris is arguably the most beautiful city in the world, but there is one area that's a little less refined. This is Montmartre, the Hill of the Martyr, specifically Saint Denis, who was beheaded by the Romans in the year 250. Legend says the bishop picked up his severed head and kept on preaching. It would be interesting to hear what he had to say about latter-day Montmartre. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, it was the Mecca for those wishing to live the bohemian life. Many of the artists we most revere today, Picasso, Van Gogh, Dali, Monet, Degas, Renoir, and many others lived here. Montmartre is just a few miles from the heart of Paris, but in those days it was rural, rustic, and inexpensive. The artist could live and create here for a fraction of what it would cost in the city, and they didn't have to conform to the conventions of Parisian society. The most prominent feature on Montmartre is the brilliant white Basilica of Sacre Coeur, built between 1876 and 1912 in the Roman Byzantine style. It sits on the highest point in Paris and offers a stunning panoramic view of the city just 3 miles to the south. Getting to the top of Montmartre can be physically challenging, but modern conveniences make it relatively easy, like a metro station, and a conveyance called a funicular that carries visitors to the base of a church. You'll still need to do some climbing, and most of the streets are made of cobblestone, so wear comfortable shoes. From the Basilica, everything is literally downhill. The narrow streets are lined with shops, restaurants, bistros, and creperies. The Place du Tertre is lined with artists who form a ring around the outdoor cafes in the center of the square. It's colorful and it's chaotic, but once you get into the flow, it all seems to work. Wandering Montmartre is a visual treat. Once the area was covered with vineyards. Now there is only one left. It produces about 500 bottles of wine a year that are sold during an annual festival to raise money for charities. The nearby Lapin Agile, the nimble rabbit, was a frequent haunt of the young artists who would eat, drink, and talk about art late into the night. The Moulin des Galettes is one of the handful of surviving windmills that once covered the hillsides. During the siege of Paris in 1814, Russian soldiers occupied Montmartre. The owner of the mill and several of his relatives were killed when they resisted. The family baked a special and very popular kind of brown bread. Descendants opened a restaurant and a wine garden on the hillside that was immortalized in a painting by Renoir. At the base of Montmartre is Pigalle and the Moulin Rouge, the Red Mill, made famous by the posters and paintings of Toulouse-Lautrec. It opened in 1889 during the Paris World's Fair. The can-can dance got its start here and created a huge sensation that helped to launch the cabaret craze. Montmartre may not be as rustic and as unrefined as it once was, but it still has elements and echoes of the past, making it well worth the time and effort to experience this very special place.